Hello everyone, buckle up for the new episode of Organic Chat, the one and only podcast made to motivate everyone with a nice topic every week, as seemingly simple as getting dishes done or as time consuming as trying to establish a routine. We all understand how daily struggles in life can cause us to lose motivation. Sometimes having a lot to do can be overwhelming to the point of feeling hopeless, and we want to give up even before we begin. Lack of motivation is often an issue with those dealing with both physical and mental issues. We all understand that sometimes just getting out of bed is a task in itself. So, once again, I welcome you all to the Organic Chat, and this is PJ, your host, and this podcast is all about not buying organic fruits or vegetables. It's all about bringing positive vibes to our family, friends, community, and to the universe. Let's go into the topic. Let me ask you something. What is the recipe for successful achievement? To my mind, there are just 4 essential ingredients. Choose a career you love. Give it the best there is in you. Seize your opportunities and be a member of a team. That's what I think. So, today our topic is love your work and live your dreams. Let's go into the topic. So, here's a little issue we have in America today. There are currently about 250,000 people a year who are dying in our hospitals due to preventable deaths. And I'm not talking about the negligence. I'm talking about little accidents, right? I'm talking about the doctor in the morning not properly briefing the doctor for the evening. I'm talking about the things that we can't sue anybody. There's nothing we can see wrong. But there's 250,000 preventable deaths every year. That's about 2747 going down every single week. That's what the equivalent to. And the confusing thing is that we have the best doctors in the world. We have the most advanced technology in the world. Some of the medical equipments we have is the best in the world. The medicines we have are the best in the world. So you start asking yourself, why are these things happening? And the reason is not because of any of those things. The reasons are actually something vastly more simple, something very, very human. 5% of hospital administrators are doctors. Most of them are number crunchers. Hospitals are run like business. Hospitals are run by the numbers. And the problem isn't the people who are giving the care. They are very highly trained. The problem is the way those people are cared for. Because what we have done is we have created the cultures in the hospital where the people who are doing the caring are cared for. And so all of these little preventable deaths are happening because they don't feel like they are part of anything. They're just doing their jobs and they don't get along, and the impact is the death, right? Now, I use this example because it's exaggerated because the impact is so powerful. But the problem is the same in our own companies, right? Which is, we come to work and we told you must care for your clients, you must care for your customers, you must make them the focus all you do, and yet why aren't the people who are managing us from the top caring about us? So yes, in the hospital the impact is worse, but the impact that we are having on the outside world is just as bad. As in other words, we are not working at our best and we don't care for things we are doing. We are not helping each other is the most important part. Is the residual impact is that we are unfulfilled by the work that we do. When we run fulfilled by the work that we do, we focus on the details, and when we focus on the details, we retract from each other. When we track from each other, we feel lonely, and when we feel lonely, cancer goes up, heart disease goes up, diabetes goes up. In other words, by going to work, we are killing ourselves literally. There's another study that was released not long ago, but it says parents who work late, the negative impact that it has on their children is little to none. They may feel guilty as parents, but the negative impact that it has on the raising of their children is little none. However, parents who come home from jobs they hate or don't love their kids are more likely to be bullies at school. And now you think about bullying epidemic we have in America, right? Where there's a disturbing number of young children who are killing themselves, suicides because of bullies. The problem is not the schools, and the problem isn't even parenting. The problem is the jobs the parents have. This is the importance this is the power of the work that we do in the places we go. Most of us we listen to the unemployment statistics. They say we are all-time high record 9 to 10% unemployment, right? And people go, oh my god, that's terrible. I hear that number and I go, well, that means 91% still have a job, right? Now granted, we want to get that employment number up, but that means 91% is still going to work. The question is, how many of them coming home fulfilled by the work that they do, and how many of them waking up inspired to go back to work the next day? If we don't love our works, we don't look out for each other, and if we don't look for out each other, we feel lonely, and if we don't feel lonely, all these negative things happen. So I would like to connect an example to change this. Is about the United States Marine Corps. I had a great honor meeting one of our friends and talking about the boot camp, and this isn't a remarkable human experiment that they are doing. And even though they know what works, they don't know why it works, but they don't need to know why because they know that it works. Right? What's happening is they are taking a group of strangers, people who don't know each other, who are showing up and within a very, very short period of time learn to trust each other so much that they would give their lives for each other. And we know anyone who has ever worn a human form knows that no one runs into a battle-forgotten country. It doesn't happen. It's for the guy that to left of me or the guy right of me. And the reason they do what they do is a sort of remarkable stories of heroism where the people rush into very, very dangerous situations to save others. And they always ask the question, why did you do this? It is your life. Why would you put your life into risk? For the answer is always the same. Because they would do it for me. In other words, that gives them the confidence to put themselves at a great risk if the knowledge that someone would do the same for them. We would put ourselves a great risk for our companies if we knew that our companies would put themselves a great risk for us. But they don't. So we don't. One of the things that's remarkable about the Marines, if you read the book, this is the most, when I ask the young, when they are 21, 22 years old, of these Lance Corporals, the grunts, you know, the guys in the infantry. I mean, this is the lowest of the lowest ones we actually send into battle, the front lines. And I asked them, are you misunderstood in America? And they said yes, unanimously. And they all nodded. And I said, what do people think of you? And one stood and says, he thinks we are baby killers. I said, how does it feel? It says, it hurts. And when I asked them to tell me a story that captures to you, and I expected to hear stories of I took a hit and somebody saved me, or I ran into a firefight and pulled something. I expected these kind of stories of heroism. Not a single story like that came out. And I'm sure those stories exist, but those aren't the stories they told, not captured what it means to be a Marine. One of those stories they told me, a young boy in Afghanistan who would come around every morning and sell kebabs to the Marines. And the one day he showed up and he was beaten up. And he'd not go to his parents to help, and he'd not go to his friends to help. He came to the Marines to help because he trusted them more than anyone else. They told me a story that captured how they feel of a village that had been overrun by the Taliban, and the residents of the village couldn't go home because of they would be killed by Taliban, and so they were just living by the river. The problem was it was a winter was coming, and one of the elders came to the Marines, knocked the door, and said, "I need you to come down to the river and kill us." And the Marines said, "What are you talking about? He says if you go back home, we'll be killed by Taliban, and if we stay out there, we'll die slow deaths in the winter. It is easier if you just come and kill us." The Marines overran the Taliban's village, pushed the Taliban out. A year later, they went back to this village and the people were playing volleyball. These were the stories told me that capture what it means to be a Marine. They believe in doing good for others, and fulfillment they get when they put themselves at a risk so that others may prevail is overwhelming. This is not unique to the Marine Corps. This is all human beings. The feeling of fulfillment comes from doing something for another. The feeling from fulfillment comes from the exertion of time and energy for someone else. If you are walking to work and throw some few pennies in a cup, and you come to work and say to your friends, "Hey guys, I gave $1 to somebody homeless this morning," what are your friends going to say? "Yeah, good, right?" "And I gave $20 to somebody homeless today." "Yeah, good for you, right?" What if you come in the morning and say, "I gave up my Saturday, I went and painted the school in the inner city"? People go, "Wow, cool, very cool." And all of a sudden, not only are they inspired to do something good themselves, but the feeling that you have persists. The amazing thing is that when we do good for others, it actually inspires others to do good for others. This is provided for us primatologically, anthropologically. It's all part of survival of the species. But we are social animals, and so we have to provide for the fact we'll maintain strong bonds and build cultures, because that's what humans do. We are cultural animals. And so when we do good for others, we look out for those in our tribe, we look out those in our group. It actually feels good. Biologically, it releases oxytocin. This chemical that released when you do good for others, it's released, and it makes you feel good. The amazing thing is, more oxytocin and you have in your body, the more you want to do good for others. The problem is we replace this feeling, the exertion of time and energy, with digital communications. We have replaced it with headphones. We have replaced it with money. Think about the invention of money, right? It used to be money. Used to be like you go to somebody's house and you cook dinner, and the deal was they do dishes, time and energy, exchange of time and energy. Though someone said, "I'll give you an IOU." So right, someone says, "I don't feel like doing dishes, so I'm going to give you an IOU that I promise to do another day." And that's what the money is. It is the promise for the future goods for our services. The promise for future goods and services. In other words, we have replaced our own time and energy with promises for someone else to do another day. Right? In other words, there's no exertion, time and energy, and so the feeling people gets is that what I did something for you and you did nothing for me, and you replaced it with a piece of paper and an eye, or you with a promise for future goods and services. The way we find fulfillment is by doing good for others. How do the Marines do? How do you get people to do good for others? We all know this intellectually. We know that it's good to do good for others. Why don't we do it? And what the Marines learn is something that I completely did not expect. They can't just yell at these guys to help each other. That's not what happens. There's a few things that have to do first. So we all heard about the obstacle course about the Marines, and this is what they build: an aerobic strength, aerobic muscle strength, and it's timed out and all this good stuff. They have another course called the confidence course, and it's never timed, and most of the obstacles on this course cannot be completed by yourself. They must be completed in teams. You have no choice. That's just how it is designed. And what they say is, first 2 weeks of boot camp, everybody is there to outdo each other and prove them that they are strong. Just like we prove how great we are, we'll work a little harder, we'll do good work, and how good my design is. So they keep putting them in situations where they can do things by themselves, and what starts to happen very slowly, they said after 2 weeks, they start cheering for each other. Now they get in trouble when they do, but they start cheering for each other. And then before too long, you see them organically start helping each other. And what happens is, if there is one person who is weak, refuses to help each other, the others, or even if there is one person who is strong, who is, I was a star college athlete, and they get to the end of every obstacle, they stand for, wait for everybody to finish, and they don't help each other. What starts to happen is, organically the group starts to ostracize that person, until they learn the only way that they get through this, survive the camp, is if they ask for help, because they have no option. The problem is, no one will help them until they are willing to help each other. It's the deal we have to make it. It's called vulnerability and risk. We have to take the risk to make ourselves vulnerable. Yes, you might do something for someone else. They may not do something back for you. That's the risk you run. That's the risk you run. It's not giving everything of them and sort of a huge, big overwhelming risk. It's about little things, going on a date or buying them something. Like when you show up at work, when you show up at first time, when you're new, don't expect that people will look out for you and they won't expect you to look at them in 7 days. It won't happen. If you've been working for a job for a few years and you don't have the absolute confidence that if you turn back and you will not get stabbed, you can rely on somebody and you can give them something, nothing will go wrong. You will share the credit, no one will throw you under the bus. If you don't have that in the few years, something is wrong. I don't know how long it takes, but it will more than a week it'll take, and less than 7 years. And the Marines fundamental understand that before anyone is willing to put themselves out for another, they have to have self-confidence, real self-confidence, and you have to be confident in yourself and your own ability before you are willing to help another. If you are insecure at all about your own ability, and it's a paradox, right? How can I overcome my confidence, my self-confidence? And we all have ego issues at all times, and we all do it. And if I'm not confident myself, I won't help another. It's a paradox, because we need someone to look out for us before we are willing to help our peers. So this is what the management is supposed to do. Drill instructors, school, they are there, our parents, they are one reason and one reason only, to help us feel strong and good about ourselves. But look at the way we talk each other. Look at the budget's being cut, and so what you're getting told, I need to do more with less. That's what we are told. Hey guys, I need you to do more with less, by our clients, by our bosses, by our parents. That's our parents telling when you are young, I know you're stupid, figure it out. Right? You are not as smart as the other kids. What you want me to do? It's the exact same thing. I need you to do more with less. Then we need to be telling people, as I need you to do more with what you have. You have capacity, you have strength, you have talent, you have ability. I need you to do more with what you have. We don't celebrate. We have God. We criticize for what we don't have. This is the responsibility of management, to take us under the wing and help us understand our own value to ourselves. Close your eyes and think back to high school. And think of that one teacher who took you under the wing and cared for you, looked after you, and helped you realize that you are capable of more than you thought you were. And you probably are the person you are today in some part of that because of that person. This is the power of those who teach us confidence. We will literally carry their names around with us for the rest of our lives. Wouldn't you be one of that person? Wouldn't you be one of that person that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, I can do this exercise with somebody that they will tell me your name? This is the power of helping others realize their own strengths. This is what management and leadership is supposed to be doing. They are supposed to be caring for us and helping us realize our own value. By the way, if you have anybody who reports to your work and your responsibility is not to make them meet the deadline, your responsibility is not to make sure that they do as you say. Your responsibility is to make sure that they understand their own strengths, their own value, and that they are way more talented than they think they are. And the only way they will learn that is if you put them in situations in which they can fail, and you hold them and you support them and you give them talent and you give them skills, you then give them education and you watch their backs, and if they fail over, you encourage them to get back, figure it out themselves. It is called confidence. It is your responsibility to help others and find it into others' responsibility to help you find others. And the amazing thing is, soon as you start feeling confident in your own ability, you naturally help each other. And that's what happens. It's called trust. In the military, they give medals to people who are willing to sacrifice themselves so that others may gain. In the business, we are willing to give bonuses to people who will sacrifice others so that we may gain. We have it backwards. And then we complain about how we don't love our jobs, and we complain about how the work is suffering, and we complain about the budgets are being cut, and we complain. And the first thing we do is blame each other and become more selfish and worry about my pay and my benefits and this is what happening. This is what happens, and we are unfulfilled, and we look at the metrics. When we are unfulfilled, we look at the metrics and we say they are not good enough. When we fulfill, we don't care about the metrics. This is why when you have a job you love and you get a call and he says, I'll offer you more and more, I'm not interested at all. I am very happy here, but I will give you more. That's not the reason I'm here. I'm here because I love it. I'm here because I care for the people I work with. And I'm here because the people I work with care for me. And this is the world I imagine. This is the world I imagine. And here's the great thing. If you take a little risk, I'm not talking about the big things, little things. Here's the great thing. If you take a little risk, if you start doing little things for each other, the amazing anthropological response is other people will start doing little things for others too. I was walking down the street 2 days ago, and a guy's backpack was open and a whole bunch of papers fell out, and he was walking down the street and I happened to be behind him, and so my friend and I, just in the mid-conversation, we never even stopped talking. We just bent down and gathered his paper and handed them back to him. Pointed out that his book bag unzipped, and he said thanks, and we walked out. And no big deal. He just went out. we were waiting at the cross street, and we are still talking. The guy in front of us turns to us and says, "I saw you helping that guy. That was really cool." But here's what great about it. The guy will go do something for someone else simply because he saw us bend down, pick up papers for someone. He will actually do something for someone else because of it. He won't give it to charity because he sees me put $1 in the cup. But he will actually help someone because he saw someone also help someone. Little things. Hold the door open for someone. Say thank you to the person who opened the door. Smile to the person. Smile to your neighbor. Little things. You put your foot in the subway when the door is closing so someone who is running can make it. Hit the open elevator. Don't go and just wave your hand saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it," or pretend you did not see it. A little time and a little energy. You will find around work that people get little time and little energy back to you, and you will give little more time and little more energy. You go coffee with someone, then you go for 2-hour coffee, and you go for a coffee and a lunch, then go for a lunch and dinner, then go for a dinner and a movie, and then you sleep over, and then you sleep over 2 nights and holiday together. Eventually you get married, right? It's a slow, it takes time. We can't rush it. When you rush it, it's all fake. Do things for others and watch how much others do for you. But go get yourself a cup of coffee from coffee machine in the morning. Make some coffee for others. It takes extra time for others. That's the point. And here's the best part. You will feel so good at the end of the day. So good. Let me sign off this episode for now. Until my next episode, keep doing your work, and it's going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is a great work. And the only way to do the great work is to love what you do. Thank you. Take care and goodbye.